In Avalanche land, as this is the Winners Toyota Lounge. Make sure you're getting powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. The Avs take down the Florida Panthers 3-1 for the DNVR Avalanche postgame show, presented by Bet365. Big E Rudo coming to you live to break it all down for you in a game that, given the result, I don't have a whole lot of problems with this game.
Oh, me neither. I mean, that was a good bounce back. I felt that they didn't generate much last game. They generated way much more. That doesn't sound right. They generated way more. There you go.
Yep.
Take the French out of there. And that's what you wanted, because if you felt that if you were going to give it a little bit more, you're not going to give up much defensively. That's just reality. The Avalanche are not going to give up too much when they're in control of a game. That's just, again, Florida had, one shot on that the first 15, 10 minutes, whatever it was.
They had 5 shots on it in the first period.
Yeah, and it's like halfway through the game, I think they had 7 shots on net, like at 5-on-5 or whatever it was. It was not a lot. But then again, it's amazing what goaltending does. Again, it's not important if you don't have it, and it's really important when you have it. It's like, here you go. So
yep,
kind of fun to watch. Homestand 3-0-1. That's what you wanted. Now you're going on the road, and then you carry what you've been doing a little bit on the road these past few road trips, and then you just break it down into small little games like this, right? Little homestand. Let's go. Let's win it. What does he do as a team? 3-0-1. Now you have a 3-gamer, right? This one is a 3-gamer.
4. Coming up, you mean?
Yeah,
3.
Yeah, 3-gamer, back-to-back, or whatever, 3 and 4, right?
Yeah.
So play it again with that, and then you have a 4-homer, right? So yep. Bednar talked about it this morning, the 10-game segments, and that's what you want. You want to be 7-3.
Yep.
And then if you make it 6-4, you're like fine, So the Avalanche are really answering the expectations.
Yeah.
And more right now. So fun to watch.
Yep. Look. There are some issues in this game, and we'll get into it, but ultimately, you essentially just held the Florida Panthers, the defending Cup champs, to 1 goal against, and only gave up 26 shots, and 13 of those came in the third period when they were trailing. So when you were even or worse in this game, you only gave up 13 shots in 40 minutes of hockey.
Pretty good. And now they're what? 7-0-1 their last 8? We talk about that 10-game span. They're pretty, 10-2-1, I think, or 10.
Yeah, in their last 12.
13 or so, something like that, right? Because
it would be 13.
That would be 10-2-1.
Yeah.
Pretty close to the 10 in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that you can nitpick it if you want.
You're on an 8-game point streak right now, however you want to look at it.
I don't know, yeah.
You just started this stretch of 10 games 1-0.
And you're 11-13 point streak.
Yeah. You're doing a lot of things right now if you're the Colorado Avalanche.
Good.
And it's a part of this is, I think, a lot more than earlier in the season. You're feeling a little bit more of that full team effort. And I know, sure, they still didn't get a depth goal tonight or whatever. And then that is something they need to fix.
Got a depth point.
They did get a depth point. We'll get to that. But you're seeing a more complete game from the Colorado Avalanche. Yes, obviously the goaltending helps a ton there. We've talked about it. But you're getting better defense. You don't have a period where you give up 5 shots on goal because you played bad defense.
Yeah, and nobody's really getting kicked in. When you're giving up 20 shots a night, whatever it is, nobody's really
tough to get kicked in.
It's tough to get kicked in. So this, even the Parker and Kivy and LOC, maybe they're not scoring, but they're generating some speed, a little bit of buzz, and they're not getting kicked in, and that's what you need. That's what you need. You want to make sure you're out there, you're doing your job, you're creating some stuff, a little bit of buzz. Can't ask for much more right now. I mean, everything is going in, and Mikko's hitting every empty netter there is in the world, so it's great.
Must be nice.
I
Must
love
be
it.
nice. I don't know if empty netters get you to 14 mil, but they certainly make you breathe a little bit easier with 2 minutes left in the game.
But again, we talk about it all the time, you and I. They're
Yeah.
big plays in a game. If he doesn't nail that, then maybe, they score on
Yeah,
the
who
next
knows?
face.
Who knows?
I don't know. Pretty amazing. It's amazing what it does when you have skilled guys on the ice that are actually smart and they close out games like that. It's pretty fun to watch.
By the way, empty netters or not, you pick up points in 14 straight games. You're doing something right.
Mikko, you mean?
Yeah.
Let's trade him.
No,
I love it.
let's not do that.
People, let's trade him. Yeah, you spend the next 20 years looking for him. I mean, come on.
Eric, let me ask you this about this game, because I don't know that I would define it this way. Was this a goalie duel?
Certainly looked like it a little bit. We talked about it pregame, right? If you're Blackwood, this is a guy that, across from you that went to the finals the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You want to make sure. How do you do against guys like that? How do you come up with the big saves? Tale of two games maybe for Blackwood tonight, right? Because it's like really doesn't get anything first 3/4 of the first period or whatever, or even the whole period. You're not getting anything. Tough to feel it. I felt Bobrovsky played pretty good in the first period. Got some luck from the posts and stuff like that. But all of a sudden you take the lead, right? And then, you lose the lead. And then, but you really haven't had any chances or shots against you. And then in the second period, it's a little bit more, even. And the Avalanche finally get that goal, right? And then if you look in the third period, then he shuts the door when he gets pummeled a little bit. Obviously, an expected push by the Florida Panthers. Again, that's not a nothing burger team. That's a good team with some good shooters. And then they find a way to get through a little bit. And not that the Avs were turtling, not by anything. It's just that it's called a push. It's called a push for a reason. And Blackwood plays unbelievable, plays great. Again, I think when they made the acquisition, we all were like, "Wow, this is awesome. This was needed," and I think it's proven to us right now. And again, it's a long season left, but it proves to you what goaltending can do in that short stint that the Wood guys have been in here. You know what I mean? So was it 10 or again, it's that 12. It's that 12-game streak there, whatever you want to call that, 10-2-1. Well, here you go. Shocker.
Call it a real calendar month now, basically.
I mean, shocker. All of a sudden you're getting saves. Nate McKinnon said it today.
He did say that.
It's not that hard what he said, and it's not mean. It's reality. It's reality. That's what's talked about in the dressing room. That's what it deflates you. Bad goaltending will deflate you. It was deflating. Now they're like, we're getting saves. It's nice. And then what do? They go down the other way and they reward them. And they it's a team sport. And you score some big goals and you go from there.
I mean, I love your last point, because that's just a reality. The first portion of this season, winning a game 2-1, 3-1 with the empty netter, wasn't really on the table for the Avs.
No.
They had to pretty much score 3 or 4, 5 goals to win hockey games earlier in this year. And honestly, they've been doing a lot of that lately too. But they can get away with it sometimes now to have a little bit of a closer game. And obviously, things didn't go the way they wanted against Montreal. And you saw a little bit of a difference in this game. And I'm not saying the Avs played absolute A1, their best possible hockey, but in a game where maybe things weren't going their way, they persevered, they kept pushing through, and eventually broke through and won the game.
That's what an experienced hockey club does. It's just what it does. And, their habits were pretty good tonight. I thought their patience was pretty good. They didn't change anything. And I'm looking at Blackwood. I'm going back to your question just for a second from the game before. Yeah, I would say he outdueled Bobrovsky, because at the end of the day, he gives up one less than Bobrovsky, and Bobrovsky gets saved by the post 3-4 times, right? And again,
saved 3 times and one goes in off the post.
So
and hit.
Again, it's all part of it. I'm not. Posts are posts. A lot of times you made the save, it hits the post, or or there's a reason it hits the post because you're in the way and they can't shoot. You
A
know,
little different than a clean post.
but a clean post, like, Mac ripped it, and was it Kale?
Yep.
It's just like, if you're asking me, like, he outdueled his opponent across the ice from him, and that's important. And for McKenzie, that's a big plus because now he's starting to feel comfortable with his teammates. It's not easy, goalie or not, starting to get normal with your surroundings and your decor and the communication and
normal is the right word because it's pretty normal for the Avs to have a period where they only give up 5 shots and you're not all that engaged in the hockey game, and then you have to figure out a way to get engaged when it comes down to it. That's pretty normal for an Avalanche goaltender.
And now he's starting to see those games. It's not the first one. A couple games ago, same thing, whatever it was. So, get used to it. And then when you get bombarded, like, we're watching right now in the third, then you get ready and you're ready to go. Again, I think there's small little challenges for him. And tonight was certainly one. We talked about it. Stanley Cup champ, Stanley Cup champion goaltender. Across from you, and you want to make sure you go out there. And he passed it with flying colors, but the Avalanche passed with flying colors once again as a team. And pretty to watch. Should be some interesting games coming up here on the road trip. Probably right time to go back on the road a little bit right now. You know what I mean? And then just kind of have that. It's not that crazy of a trip. And then get back and start again, one thing at a time here. But I'm talking about again, now you're going downhill, right? You're past the 40-game mark. 40 tonight, right? 41 tonight?
Tonight was 41.
41. So you're really past the halfway through now. It's downhill. You're on the
officially
back nine.
halfway.
Officially on the back 9. So as we know, it gets quick. It's from now to the 4 Nations, the 4 Nations to the trade deadline to the dance, right? So that's kind of, you look at it. You do feel the dog days of January a little bit. You saw that against Buffalo for a period or 2. You saw that against Montreal maybe last game. But, for the most part, tough to argue that the Avalanche aren't on the heater right now because they are.
When you're hot, you're hot. It's
absolutely.
Don't apologize for it. The Avs have earned a hot streak, and they're playing well for most nights and doing the job. So it's a good job by them. I do want to talk a little bit more about those guys, but we'll get to them in a minute. I want to bring up this topic here, and you take a look at special teams, and you go one side good, one side not so good tonight. Your penalty kill, aces. 3 huge kills in this game that keep the Avs fighting for the win that they ultimately go on to get. Your power play, mechanically, I don't think your power play was that bad tonight. You had 2 genuine good power plays. You had 1 okay one and 1 that was bad. That's not terrible, but you go 0 for 4. In a game that essentially was 1-2-1, you go 0 for 4.
Well, I think, unfortunately, you'd be looking at it even worse if it wasn't for the Avalanche tying or getting that goal. You know what I mean? That 1-1
came on the
goal.
shift after a power play, basically.
So it's like your power play has to strike. It's not good enough to be good. You got to strike. You could have a bad power play and strike, and it's good. And, and it's not.
At the end of the day, the result's the only thing that matters.
That's it. That's what I'm trying to say. And then if you're looking at tonight, it could have bit them a little bit, but it didn't because they come up with that big goal to tie it up. But yeah, it needs to be better. I mean, if there's one thing we can nitpick, it just needs to be better. And better by meaning, at some point, you got to stop being stubborn a little bit. And you just got to, I do believe you simplify it, you bring it up top. I'm talking about to get results. You again, Bob Browski made some big saves on the power plays tonight. He did. On the Avalanche power plays. But if you just simplify it, sometimes you bring the puck back up top. Makar does the shimmy shuffle and then put the pucks on net. You're going to tip it. There'll be a rebound. It's going to go in. Kale gets pucks through. So when you're struggling, all you say is, you know what? Let's drop that puck. In the first minute, that's all we're doing. We're just bringing it up top and shoot. Bring it up top. Remember like 2 weeks ago when he was like going nuts? He was just clap bombing it 3-4 times in a row. Do that. It's going to back everybody off. Then it opens up the seams of your pass across to Mikko in the corner, which is awesome because Mikko can thread the needle from there. Or that little bumper play that they seem to love trying. But once you just establish that you're shooting, you play differently. You know what I mean? If you're the defenders. So I just feel they're a little bit too predictable right now to get the results.
It's it's interesting because I think there's a couple of angles to this, and I get it. I think at times, especially over the last couple of games, the Avs have struggled to find shooting lanes effectively. You've seen a lot of throwing pucks into the first defenseman and things like that. But keep in mind, if you're winding up a one-timer on the power play and they're blocking it, they're going to block that once. It's going to really hurt, and they might think about it a little bit next time, you know?
But 100%. I got no problem. And I tell you all the time, it's not about violence. I got no problem. The guy wants to be there, and he's a pain in the butt because he's in the shooting lane. You can shoot high at him. I mean, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? And then it's like, that next time.
Make him think about it a little bit.
And next time, he might be just a little bit to the side. It's just, it's just human nature. And then it gets through and you score. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's those little things that can make a difference sometimes.
Just saying.
That's all I'm saying. Power play does kind of have to get started going here. It felt like for a second they were coming out of it a handful of games ago. They're 1 for their last 9 now. So.
Yeah, and again, last game it bit them a little bit.
For sure.
Because they never got tonight. It didn't bite them because they go and get, was it because Toews got the first one,
They played much better 5-on-5 hockey.
Yeah, and then Toews gets that one to make it 1-1.
Yep. So we'll talk more about Toews and the others, but first we are brought to you by the folks over at Coors Light. Go get yourself an ice cold, refreshing Coors, the beer literally made to chill. The mountains turn blue on the bottle or the can, and I always say go get it. You never have to go get it. You can get it delivered to you with CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Thanks to Instacart, they'll bring it right to your front door so you can get it delivered at intermission or at halftime or at whenever when you're watching the game. So jump in with them. Go have a good time with Coors Light. Sometimes you got to simplify, like Eric said. Just order the Coors Light and call it an easy night. Jump in with them. Choose chill. The dog's off. Choose chill. Of course, Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Please drink responsibly. And you know what goes great with beer? Pizza.
Big sexy
pizza, baby. Go get yourself some sexy pizza. They're more than your average by-the-slice eatery. Sexy Pizza is dedicated to top-quality eats with civic and community interaction. They're always involved with fundraisers in the community where 15% of purchases go to them, and they support a bunch of local sports teams at the school level, high school, elementary, even some club teams too. So make sure you're supporting your community. Be a part of Sexy Pizza. Go get with them. Take a break and take a look with their everyday specials. They sell slices, of course, but if you go to a location where they sell alcohol, you can also get a beer with your pizza. So get the upgrade. And of course, DNVR fans can get 15% off when they use code DNVR15 online or in store with Sexy Pizza. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Let's get into our 3 stars of the game. And we start off with an interesting one, a bit of a fun one. We're going with Juuso Parssinen as our 3rd star. He gets his first point as an Av, setting up what would go on to be the game-winning goal from Devon Toews. But it wasn't just that from Juuso tonight. He had a pretty darn good game as a depth option for the Avs. Had a good shooting opportunity or two. Had multiple shifts where he helped force turnovers, had good forechecks, had good back checks. Didn't play a ton, not a ton of minutes. That's kind of part of the deal when you're in the Avs bottom 6 these days, it seems. But for a guy that the Avs actively traded for and wanted to go out and get, this is probably his best game so far with the Avs.
Yeah, I mean, Parssinen, that's his name, Parssinen. I like this game. I think he used his reach, he used his size. You can tell you're getting a little more comfortable. You know what I mean? Like but again, I was talking about Blackwood. Same thing for him. It's what is it? 3 games now, give and take, whatever. Give and take
4
games. Now you're gonna get on the road, get to know a few guys. Just go out with the Godfather. The Finnish mafia on the road there, and probably eat a little salmon. The 26 Finnish guys, the Avs have in their lineup, and get to know them a little bit better. And sounds like he knows some of the guys, trains with them in the summer, whatever it is. So. Yeah, I like this game. I like his size. I like what he brings. He almost got decapitated there by Lecky. Right there. Luckily, the tomahawk is coming right after the goal there. But, Lecky's like, oh, God, you're not going to steal that goal. And, But, no, I like him. What was his minutes? What was it, 8 minutes or something?
It was 6:30 at 5-on-5. I don't know what his power play
6:30,
time
so
was.
it could have been much more. Maybe
I'll
a little
tell
more, but I don't care. I said it before, and I'll say it again. You play 2 minutes, you play 6 minutes, you play 18 minutes. You got to have a little bit of in your game, a little bit of oomph. I felt that he had some oomph tonight. I felt that he brought some stuff. And I think he's on the positive side of things. And again, we're talking about him right now. So it must have been good. This is something that maybe Double O missed the boat on every time that he's been here. But I only play 6 minutes. Yeah, but the 6 minutes are crap. These are good 6 minutes. Maybe it will lead to 8 minutes. Maybe it won't. At the end of the day,
8:30 with power play time.
8:30.
So.
Maybe it'll lead to 12:30. At the end of the day, you're not in charge. You are in charge of your own game, and you're in charge of making sure you got a motor every shift. And if it's 1 or 2 shifts appeared, it's what it is.
2 things there that I want to jump on. One, earning that job, right?
That's right.
Compared to his other 2 fourth-line teammates, Inola played 5:21. Felber played 5:05. So Parsonen earned a little bit more directly against the guys he's competing with. And the other side of it is what you were just saying. Make the most of your opportunities. He gets a shift with the second-line guys of Colton and Middlestat, and the puck ends up in the back of the net.
And here's
I guess it was Lehkonen and Colton.
But still, you almost decapitated him. But if you're, here's what I'll say. If you're frozen on the bench and you're sitting there and you're like this and you're just like, you're almost asleep, like, guys see that, coaches see that. And then when your name gets called, you're not ready. So this is a game, this is a sport where injuries happen on the drop of a dime. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, you got to play a big Casey Middlestat 3 games ago. He's in the doghouse. Next thing you know, Big Val's gone. Now he's got to play different kind of minutes that he was originally playing that game. And next thing you know, if he's like just like this, like, oh, the coach, you're not ready. KC jumps up, makes the big play, gets the game winner. It was the same thing for guys like that. Parsonen, if you're not playing a lot, you got to stay alive, you got to stay active, and you got to stay mentally into the game. You got to be invested in the game. And that's why I say, I like that. I know he's a different type of, he's not really a call-up, he's more an NHLer, but I just haven't seen that from some of the call-ups this year that I've been here. I just feel that I'm not there, but by looking at them, it's, I'm just getting 5 minutes. And, and I hate that. You know that. I hate that. So good on Parsonen tonight. I felt that he made the most out of his minutes.
He did. He absolutely did. And a guy that made the most out of his play in the game is our second star in Mackenzie Blackwood. We kind of already talked about, had a slow start, not his own fault, just the game did not provide him very many shots. The one goal he gives up is ridiculously unstoppable as far as your goaltender is concerned. It's a 2-on-1 that they play perfectly, and Blackwood just has no chance on that play, is what it is. And he stops all of the rest of them. All of the rest of them he stops. And 2 particularly stand out to me. Both of his saves on Matthew Tkachuk.
Yep.
The first one where it's a puck that gets shot up into the air. Nobody knows where it is except for Tkachuk and Blackwood. Blackwood tracks it, finds it, stops Tkachuk off of what could have been an easy goal for them. And then the other one with the tip play and the pad save to keep the game in the Avs' favor, which is great work. A little bit lucky. The tip just hits him.
Sure.
You're allowed to get lucky, but he's able to react and make the second save on top of that, which the Avs just weren't getting earlier in the year.
Again, we haven't been accustomed to this. Every tip's been going in the net the last couple of years. So, it's weird that tips are actually being saved. Sarcasm there, I apologize. But what I'm trying to say, 2 things. He oozes confidence for me. He's got a little bit of swag in his game. He's a confident goaltender. He's a bigger guy. I love the way he scrambles because it's scrambling but under control. It's not all over the map. He's actually covering stuff when he's scrambling, and he has a motor, and I like that. And B, I'm going back to the word, the swag and the confidence, because he gives the other 19 guys dressed that night, including the backup goalie, because he knows he's not on pins and needles, that he's going to have to get out there. Because trust me, as a backup, sometimes they sit there and they're like, oh, God, he's not seeing. Am I going in? Oh, my God, I've been sitting here for 2 hours right now. Like, are you serious? I might have to go in. You know what I mean? So the other 19 guys are actually positive, smiling, and feeling good about their games. And it's amazing what it does to a team.
Without looking it up, off the top of your head, what's the last goal Blackwood gave up that you probably want back?
Boy, oh boy, maybe there's one game. There was one. I'm like,
that's my point.
I can't. Like, I can't.
Sure,
I'm trying
but
to
you have to go
which
back
one.
4 or 5 games. You have to really think about it. He's not giving up soft ones very often.
He's a real goalie, and it's amazing what it does. It was at the end of the year, we're going to talk about it, and we'll be like, that's what saved the Avs season. Very, very, very simple. The moves, and don't forget about Wedgie too. You know what I mean? Like just the combo,
of course.
just the dynamic duo, their personalities and what they bring to the team, and pretty good. I mean, I got to be honest with you, it's a game changer for the Avs.
Yep. And then our number one star, there's obviously no doubt about this one, picks up 2 of the goals himself, is an assisting on the empty net goal. Devon Toews, an absolute monster night. He's been on a tear as an individual the last handful of games. First star 2 nights in a row for us. Or say 2 nights that we did stars. We're not counting a loss. Yeah. But Toews was a monster tonight. And the one thing I want to point out for Devon Toews, he understood the assignment.
True.
Once the puck was not going in the net, at 5-on-5, Nathan McKinnon had 6 shot attempts. Devon Toews was second with 5 as a defenseman. Sometimes hockey's not complicated.
You can tell he's feeling better. Whatever was nagging in the first 25, 30 games for him, give and take. Something was clearly not right. Had a lot of maintenance days, from practices. But right now you can tell he's pretty healthy. Again, that's what I'm assuming. But he's playing a lot better, and he's playing actually great. Not that he was bad before. It's just where the standards are so high for him, Makar, and again for me, he's the secondary guy. Obviously, kind of like Natushkin and Lehkonen and Druin up front. As the defenseman, he's not an all-star / meaning Cale Makar, but he's certainly an unbelievable, so valuable player.
Well, and let's be honest, Makar was just okay at best tonight.
Oh, no, 100%, yeah.
But that's when you need your second guy to step up, and that's exactly what Devon Toews did.
And that's why he's first star. It's got, obviously something to do with 2 goals, but at the end of the day, he understood the assignment, like you just said. He saw what needed to be done. He was able to, what do you call that? Absolutely just, as much as Blackwood stabilized, the team. Well, Toews stabilized. You saw some back checks. He just stabilized kind of the back end tonight. Usually Cale does that. Tonight, Devon Toews did it. So it was kind of nice to see that there was a little bit of a compliment there, and those 2 guys are such monsters together when they're both on top of their game. But, Toews is certainly flying. He's certainly playing well. And the Avs are going to need him, obviously, these next 41 games to be the Devon Toews that, made AJ cry a couple years back when there was a trade announced.
I have a statistical question for you, Ian.
Yes.
That first goal by Devon, does that count as a shot on goal?
I mean, think about that one.
Because a post is not a shot on goal.
It's not, but the same shot hits the goalie in the back and goes into the net, so that's a shot on goal.
So you still, I know it's Toews' goal because he's the last Av to touch it.
No, but that would be a shot.
But you're still counting a shot on goal?
You have to count it as a shot on goal because it ends up in the net. You know what I mean? Like it ends up, yeah.
We're not calling that an own goal.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I know. I'm just
own goal. Yeah, if it was a defenseman, that'd be your own goal. Yeah, technically that wouldn't be a shot on net.
That's what I'm saying.
If it was
I'm saying Devon maybe could have ended the night with 1 goal, no shots.
Hey, look, Barsinen got the hat.
That's because Toews already had it, so he had to give it to somebody.
Sorry. Still, we were right. But yeah, you're right. Let's say it does hit the post. It hits Bob's butt, goes on the side, and a D puts it in. That's not a shot on that.
That's what I'm saying.
This one is because nobody touches except Bob's butt.
I don't know. I don't know either way on that one. That's not my job. But what we do have for you, though, is Devon Toews' interview after the game. So let's hear from our first star of the night. Right?
Being nice to contribute. 2 goals tonight. Just walk us through your night.
Well, we won. We played a better game than we did the other night, and back to what we want to do for more of a 60-minute effort there. Just being more committed on the D side. We felt like we had better legs than they did tonight, and even though we didn't generate as much offense, I think there was opportunities as we wanted to and didn't capitalize. We were able to do a better job in our zone of staying above them and reloading and tracking and having better gaps to make it harder on them tonight.
Your team is the league leader in points from defensemen. How fun is it to play in a system here where you can jump in and make things happen?
Well, yeah, we're just trying to play our game. I don't think our guys necessarily care about points back there. It's about contributing offensively and being able to create time and space for our forwards and get them the puck in dangerous areas as well. So if we're able to contribute on the score sheets, that's great. But at the end of the day, we're defenders first, and if we're able to help out on the on the offensive side of it, it helps out as well. It gives our forwards a little bit more time, and it gives us a couple extra weapons there to kind of make teams think about as well.
How are the contributions that you're getting on the back end a reflection of doing the things right, starting in your own end?
Yeah, that's where it starts. Everything starts from goaltending out, breakouts, our center being in the right spot, our wings coming in to help, working and breaking out as a group of five, really. It gives us the opportunity to join on the weak side if teams are sitting on our wings. And then it just gives our wings opportunity to get the puck down low with a little more time and space if their D aren't pinching. So, and then if they are pinching, we're able to chip it and chase, and we feel like we got the better speed and better legs than a lot of teams in this league, so we're able to win those puck races.
For yourself.
No doubt about it. The Avs were the better team tonight, and you're doing your job as a teammate, chat, getting us to 100 likes. So thank you very much. On that front, we get our winner shots. We appreciate y'all. Cheers to y'all. A little bit of vitamin W is always a good thing. All right. On that note, we got to pay some bills here. And you know what? You know how you drive to victory?
Well, I'm looking at them.
You get into one of these Toyotas. Can we go to the wide shot? These things are actually sick. They're huge. These giant RC Toyota cars, I love them. They're kind of crazy. But you're probably also going to want to get yourself a real Toyota, especially with all the snow that's supposed to come this week. We heard 3 to 8 inches out where I live, so might be a little squirrely. But if you got an all-wheel drive Toyota, you're good to go. 17 different all-wheel drive vehicles from Toyota. They are the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche and us here at DNVR. So make sure you're getting yourself down to your local Toyota dealerships, including but not limited to Auto Nation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corbin Toyota, and Boulder, Groove Toyota, and Littleton, Mountain State Toyota, and Denver, Stevens Toyota East, and Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, Toyota, the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche and DNVR. Once you've got yourself all set to drive in any weather, make sure you're living well. It's a perfect setup because you can order your Live Well at home online at livewell.com for pickup in store at any of their 25 locations. Live Well's goal is just to get cannabis to everyone so everyone can live well. Their staff in store is extremely knowledgeable, and you can ask them about any of their products, whether it's joints, whether it's flour, whether it's topicals, whether it's gummies, whether it's vape cartridges. They've got you at Live Well. And the coolest part is you can use code DNVR25 at any Live Well store to get 25% off one full-priced item. Of course, restrictions apply, but get down to your local Live Well today and pick up whatever it is that you need. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I think that the Avs do get slept on a little bit with how consistent they are at persevering in games. Because, yeah, if you go look at the loss the other night against Montreal, no perseverance at all there. That was a rare night where the Avs did not have the effort through and through, and it cost them the game.
I think it was a January night against an Eastern team. Not an excuse, but human nature at times. Especially when you're on a heater.
I'm less about more looking for excuses for it and more about, we said it at the post game of that game. What will define that game is how they respond.
Yeah.
And they come out in this game and they show zero signs of that. They show full effort, even when the game wasn't going their way. Even when they'd hit a couple posts in a row, they kept pushing. They kept playing good hockey. And it wasn't perfect, but they kept themselves in the game and ultimately go on to win it. And I think the Avs have deserved a lot of credit this year for whether they're winning, whether they're losing. At times there are execution issues and defensive stuff that you want them to execute better on that they have not been able to do consistently. But from a mindset perspective, they're pretty darn consistent about pushing until the game is over.
And with that said, too, there hasn't been a lot of stinkers. Remember last year, for example, like I remember Pittsburgh stinker, maybe a Nashville stinker or a St. Louis stinker, or, remember Bednar getting mad. And, this year, they, like you said, I think they've been pretty consistent at trying to stick with it. You know what I mean? And I think that the league is noticing. I think that the chatter around the league right now, people that don't really watch the Avs all the time are starting to watch now because they're like, what's going on now? Now they're, we're back on the bandwagon of the Avalanche. Well, yeah, you should be, because that's a good team. Like you just said, they're listening, they're playing as a team, overall. They got weapons. We all know that. We talk about them every day. And now they got goaltending.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, agreed.
Again, I can tell you that is a fact. The Avalanche, when they made those changes, and don't sleep on the Wedgwood deal too, because that solidifies their backup position. As much as we liked Eustace, there's a little bit of inconsistencies, and he's going to be fine, and he's going to play in the NHL one day. That's all good, consistently. But when they made that deal, a lot of people were like, "Dang, now they have goaltending." You know what I mean? Now they have goaltending. This is going to be scary, and I think everybody that said it. They were right, because they have been scary since this happened. And what you're looking at right now is this guy.
Yeah,
listen, it's so embarrassing.
Some like German league, or
No,
I can't tell.
I think it's KHL.
Is it KHL?
Yeah.
Dropped his phone on the ice.
But then his excuse was, just so we would change off topic, his excuse was that he thinks that between periods, his phone was in a stall there. And he thinks that, he said, it's like a cigarette. When you leave a cigarette behind your ear, now after a while, you don't know it's there. He goes, when I put my gear back on, he says, my phone probably slipped in my pants.
Sure, buddy.
So then I asked some guys that, and they all said, they're like, oh no, there's no way. He just probably was on his phone, and you're not supposed to be on your phone between periods. There's a lot of rules and a lot of teams, and probably stuck it in his pant there because the coach came in. Then he forgot that he was there. Then he went out there, and all of a sudden it just slides right. And then the referee, that's awful. He's like, whose phone is this, to make sure everybody's looking at it. Then he's like, oh God, that's my phone. Oh God. So yeah, if you didn't know that it got that it got stuck in your gear from he was not listening to the coach, and then he just kind of saw the coach, and he was like, oh God, he put it in his pant, and then he got stuck in there. But anyway, besides the game, that's in the KHL, far from here.
To get us back on topic, the Avs might have just caught Montreal at the wrong time. Habs won again tonight, 5-4 over Vancouver in overtime. So that team's hot right now.
They're in a playoff spot tonight. I know you were arguing me the other day, but they're in a playoff spot right now. So that, again, when you're young, go back to some of the Avs, like not 1.0, but in between the 1.0 and 2.0, we had some young teams, and you go on one of those road trips and you do really well. It's amazing what it does. It gives you, and that was a tough night tonight for them. Coming back home after being on the lengthy road trip out west, give them credit, and the Avs caught them at the wrong time. And, again, they, I didn't mind their game at all. I thought their goalie played pretty good, and if they're going to start getting saves from not just Montembeault, but, Dobas and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, that's two hot teams right now, Avalanche. And, but it's funny because everybody kept their streak, their point streak alive. Obviously, winning streak, point streak, so the Avs kept the point streak alive.
Yeah. I guess my question for you in a game like this one, E, would be, what's the mindset of a 1-1 game going into the third period? You felt like you've played well, but you've also hit 3-4 posts on the night. How does Colorado keep that mindset of, hey, we keep the killer instinct up, we find a way to finish this game and win it? Is there something specific, or is that varied from team to team?
No, I think, to answer the question, I think it's a mindset, as individual mindset, as a team, mindset from the coaching staff. Here's what I'll say about this. Sometimes you might, and again, this is the Avalanche are an experienced team now. They've had that core together for years. You have 9 years of the same coaches, a championship team. A lot of times I'm going to use two words here, and they're so important. They're so important. And you'll see a lot of that with younger teams that are just up-and-comers.
Sure.
It's called body language. You know what I mean? And you hit the post, and then it's like, they throw their hands up, and you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, and they make a big deal out of it. Then it's like, oh, it's getting to you. I mean, the Avalanche, it's like, you know what? I hit the post, and they might see this, like, whatever. You're like, God, you know what I mean? But McKinnon hits that post. I mean, do you see him, like, even stop on his stride? Doesn't even stop on his stride. Just keeps going. He's trying to retrieve that puck. There's no time out there to be disappointed. There's no time out there to be like, oh. You can't have letdowns because all of a sudden the other team picks up and goes. So I think that it's very important that you stick with it. It's very important that it doesn't get into your own head. It's more like, hey, let's be ready to go and let's keep doing what we're doing because it's working. It just hasn't gone in. But on the flip side of things, it's also nice when you're on the bench and you see your goalie make saves. And it's the same thing. It's like, all right, guys, don't worry. You know, the wood shop, whatever it is, man. The woodsman's in the back of the net.
Lumberyard.
The lumberyard. Either or are in there and they're good. Let's go do it for the whole lumberyard. Home
Or
Depot.
the Steady Yeti was in tonight.
Steady Yeti, or let's go do for the Home Depot dudes. You know what I mean? Like Home Depot.
You've heard of the
dudes.
Halifax homies.
And the Home Depot dudes. Lots of wood on the left side of the Home Depot usually. Is it?
D-Line's in the chat. I know you hear this,
The
D-Line.
Home Depot dudes. Home Depot homies, right? Halifax homies and the Home Depot homies. There you go. A name has risen right there. But anyway, it's just amazing what it does, and on the both sides of the thing, and you can't get frustrated, and you go, and sometimes you have puck luck, sometimes you don't. So
True.
tonight, Bobrovsky had puck luck.
They were able to overcome it anyway.
That's it.
That's kind of
go.
the key there.
You go and you don't change things. You don't get discouraged. You don't get mad. You don't get negative thoughts will bring you negative energy, will bring you negative results. Positive thoughts, positive attitude will give you positive results. I mean, here's Dr. Eric here. I mean, I play a doctor at the start of the show, usually in pregame. McDreamy. So stick with it.
I do have a question for you. If you're looking at the Avs lineup, do you feel like the Avs might need to do something at the bottom of their D-core? Because it's been a handful of games now where Sam Malinsky hasn't played particularly well.
Yeah.
He was arguably their worst possession player on the night. Obviously, the one goal they do give up, you have a mess of a play in the neutral zone from Josh Manson, and
Yeah.
that's followed up with, yes, it's a 2-on-1, but Keaton Middleton plays it very poorly beyond that.
Here's what I think. Here's what I do now, and here's what I do later. Fan of Calvin DeHaan or not, I thought Calvin was playing pretty good.
Same.
I mean, when he got taken out of the lineup. So I think it's time this road trip to get him back in there because he brings you that veteran presence. He's played good, especially lately. And all of a sudden mix it back up a little bit, keep guys fresh. Is Ludwig, is he still around? Like, I mean, at some point.
he got a conditioning
he got
stint.
conditioned.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my fault. That's right. I didn't see him this morning. I was like, there's no scratches. There is no scratches. Calvin was the only one. Okay, so with that said, that's for now. For later, like any team that aspires, that thinks, some of you think, logically think that they can win the cup, probably going to be about maybe 10 that are saying, hey, we have a shot at winning this.
Yeah.
I know the league will tell you that there's 16, but we all know it's not 16.
Yeah.
So it'd be great. Some teams will be in there, but they're not going to win it all, and we all know that.
Yeah.
So let's say there is 10, and I'm being generous.
Reality, it might be more like 6.
Yeah, that but I mean, I'm just being. What I'm saying is, at the deadline, they're all gonna. Those 10 are gonna make additions. It just is. It's every year. Look at the Avs last year. They made. Remember Trennan, Duane. Who else did they add on the back end of that last year? Was there anybody on the back end?
I mean,
I don't
Walker
remember.
a little bit before.
Walker right
Yeah.
before, which was the same thing. Of course, you had the KC and Bo trade, but I do believe that Avs are going to be in those 10 teams that are going to probably look to add another defenseman. You know what I mean? For all the reasons.
Sure.
And maybe an extra forward for all the reasons. You know what I mean? And I don't think it will be something that costs you $10 million a year, but it will be something that can help you line up and can help you stabilize the depth and all that. Who knows by then where we're going to be at? Where are you going to be at with the Landeskog situation? Where are you going to be at with Miles Wood? Is he coming back? Not coming back? Right now there's a lot of uncertainties, and I think by trade deadline you're going to see, C-Mac and company have done what they needed to do over the last few years, even going back to the Cup year and all that kind of stuff. Even the year, a year before, they didn't do the Manson deal. They did it the Cup year, even though they were looking at it the year before. But all of a sudden, they're going to make some additions and stabilize, like you said, the back end a little bit, and maybe stabilize the bottom six there a little bit.
They've already shown they're willing to do it in goalie. They've started that process by going out and getting Parsonen.
Yep.
probably still more work to do, but
A little bit.
who knows? Maybe
Yep.
maybe that'll be our topic for tomorrow. We
Love
can
it.
throw out a couple of
I love it.
targets,
I love it.
something like that.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. I'm going to take a quick pause here, and then we'll get into our last segment of the show. All right. We've talked enough. We'll have a bit more to wrap things up for you, but let's hear from head coach Jared Bednar on the bounce back win from the Avs.
Don't listen to him.
Okay. All right, quick then, Jesse, quick.
Yep.
Coach, I mean, we talked this morning about potentially being a goalie battle, and we were just saying that it seems like right when it seems like the game's going to get out of hand and start running up and down, it does just kind of settle down. How much of that is McKenzie in that?
Yeah, no, a lot of it. Like, I thought we did a great job defending tonight, like we did. I think when you look at the way they play and then look at the chances they get on a nightly basis, like, there's a lot of chaos at the net front, right? But tonight, like, just everything looks really dangerous, but we broke up a lot of plays at the net front with sticks, blocks. We gave up a few, and he was huge in goal when we needed it, and he smothers stuff and calms it down for us. And but like I said, I thought both teams created a fair amount of offense with special teams and 5-on-5 when it's all said and done, but both goalies were good, so it ends up being a real tight, low-scoring game.
You mentioned defending. Kale said he feels like he's taken his game to another level this year, not just on the offensive side, but how good has he been for you, just both sides this season?
Yeah, I agree with that. And because it's something we talked about, right? Like, we have numbers from last year and previous seasons, and it's just like he digs in on the offensive side every night, and he's a contributor, and that's great, and that's what he gets recognized for, and that's what he's known for. But like, Cale has a deep desire to win, right? And if he's going to play that much, then you want to make sure you're just not trading chances. And he's really bought into that. You know, it's things we've talked about over the years, but this year, you know, we've had multiple discussions about, you know, what he's giving up when he's on the ice, what he can do better to make sure we're giving up less, because I still think that they're just going to create what they create on the offensive side of it with their skill and ability and desire to score. But you can tell there's an added, you know, focus on his defending details and what he needs to do, not just him, but with his partner and his lines, and he wants to be clear on it, and he wants to continue to improve it. And I think that, you know, shows you that that's the type of guys you win with. Like, it's not just because you're having success putting the puck in the net. You want to do everything you can to make sure we're holding teams to one goal.
I imagine it's not easy for a player to come in and like person in and play 8 minutes a night and get acclimated to a new system, but he has that strong puck battle and then screens the goalie on the game-winning goal. Is there like this growth in confidence that you're seeing from him?
Yeah, I think, you know what, he's like, definitely confidence was an issue in Nashville. Doesn't seem like it is here for us. You know, that's just the minutes he's getting allotted right now, but he's doing a good job in those minutes, and he's, you know, been seeing his shifts. He watches them. We've been going over some stuff with him, but his details in his game when it comes to the defending side of it have been really good. He's not giving up anything that's, you know, out of whack, and I think, you know, that he's the offensive side of it that he had 2 years ago. That's where we want to get him to, you know, and that's a good flash of it tonight, you know, like, it's been there for, you know, I've seen flashes of it in all the games that he's played, but tonight it's a big play, it's a big shift, and gets us a big goal, which was what we needed. So, like, that should earn him a little more confidence and hopefully earn him a little bit more ice time as we move on too.
You mentioned the defending. Can you compare where the team's at defending right now compared to like 0-4 or even like when it was like 14-13?
Well, it just depends on the stretch. We did some good defending then too, but pucks end up in your net, and then you're like, you know, you get criticized for it. You're gonna give up chances. You are. It's just the types of chances you're giving up, and you know, like, I thought we did a really nice job against Montreal. We were committed to it. Then late in the game, we gave up 4 odd man rushes that I didn't like. You know, I think tonight you get in that same situation and we don't give up much. Like, they have to grind and earn their chances, and that's what we want. Like, if they're going to get chances, they're going to have to earn them, and we've been doing that for longer stretches and more consistently now than at any other point in the season.
You entered the game leading the league in points from defensemen and share of offense from defensemen. How much of that is opportunity? How much of that's talent? How much of that is system?
Well, we have a talented group back there, and they're committed to helping on the offensive side of it. You know, some nights are better than others, but I think it starts with your talent, your personnel, and then you kind of game plan your system around some of those guys. Like, it's the way we play. We've had the same, core four back there for a while. They're all capable of chipping in on the offensive side of it, and all the new guys we bring in, we try and raise expectations of what they're capable of on the offensive side of it. So I think it's a little bit of both.
On the game time goal, he was in front of the net, but prior to that, Colton was kind of a battering ram on that shift. Is that the edge and the physicality that he brings to the top six that maybe some other guys just don't?
Yeah, that's the way we need him to play. He's got to be a hungry, physical, tenacious, relentless player, and that's when he's at his best, right? Like, because you take away time and space, and there's a physicality to it and a hunger to it to score. It's a great cycle play, and then I think it's Lecky that goes to the net front that gets the moving screen. But that was a great shift. It's kind of what we showed this morning and talked about. If you look at both of our goals, it was loading up the point and sifting to the net with traffic and fighting to that interior of the ice. Like, we needed to play. They're hard to beat in their coverage, and they protect the house really well. So the points are the shots you're going to get, and there's shots you're going to have to take. And we felt like winning the game tonight, we'd have to win the net front battle, our end and theirs.
A few last ones.
Miko, 14-game point streak. He's tied for the lead in the league. I mean, we talked about him last game, but just this stretch from him.
Yeah, it's been outstanding. And finding a way to capitalize on his chances, too. Like, he's been playing hard. Like, I thought, the last handful of games especially, and watched in depth the game against Florida when we were in there a while back. He was an absolute beast in the Florida game, and big, strong, physical on pucks tonight again in the offensive zone. And that's usually his competitiveness, his skating, and then when he gets in puck protection mode, that's the way we need him to play, and usually offense follows that.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks.
So there you go. The difference between this game and last game, sometimes it's not too complicated. When you outwork them and you're the better team, you'll usually get the result.
It's amazing what hard work does when you have talent, you know, and then and smarts, right? Be smart, and goaltending. So if you add everything, you get wins. Not hard.
Eric, you've been saying it all season long, but the Avs are doing the things that good teams do now. Don't lose 2 in a row.
I'm telling you, they're bringing it up. Championship teams do talk about it. Young teams don't have that mentality.
Sure.
They don't understand it. But I'll tell you one thing. When you do understanding, it's amazing when it does. It makes a big difference. And it's a mindset. It's a mindset. Just look at the Avs mindset against Montreal. They've been 6 in a row, so they're not close to losing 2 in a row, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, so your mindset's like a little bit more loose, you know what I mean? And it's like, loose in a bad way, not loose in a good way. And that's what you're getting. But when you're lost one, then it's like, okay, we don't lose 2 in a row. And we go, we correct what we did. And we don't like it because it's habits and, it's your character, it's your habits, it's your destiny. It's really where you're going to end up come playoff time, because if you're used to it and it's nothing new, it's normal protocol around the team. It's a mindset. You just go ahead and do it. And if you come out on the wrong side of it because you did all the right things, then so be it. That's bad luck. Poo happens. But if you're on the right side of things, it's just the way it is.
The Avs are 8-1-1 in their last 10 on a current 8-game point streak of 7-0-1.
There you go.
You literally can only be 1 point better than that over the last 8 games. That includes going 3-0-1 on this homestand and coming off of a winning road trip, if you want to call it that. They had that weird stretch where they played 1 game in Utah, but the road trip before that, they went 2-1 on. So they're doing a lot of things right now. It's hard to play a perfect game, but yeah, you can look at the schedule of the last 5 games there. A little bit, well, the Buffalo game was 6-5, but close enough. Look, if you dive into those games, some of the games you're going to look at the process and go, I didn't love it tonight. Some of those games you're going to look at it and say they played great. But we've said it for an entire month straight now. The process time is over. Go win hockey games. And the Avs have absolutely done that. They've put themselves from what was a team at best to the middle of the pack to now pretty squarely at the top end of certainly the Western Conference, if not the entire league.
When you have everything and you do the right things and you respect the process and you trust the process, usually you come out on top. So the Avalanche, that's what they have. That's what they've been striving for. They had to deal with what they had to deal with at the start of the year, and then you compounded that with some bad goaltending. It just made things really more nerve-wracking than it should have been. But reality probably was a good thing because it made them realize this is just not good enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's not good enough. We got to fix that. And they did. Kudos to them. And now it's more about consistency, and it's about getting into the habits that will make you, a championship-minded type of team. Does that mean you're going to win it all? Who knows? I mean, everybody wants to win it all, but only one team. There's only one cup. Last we checked, there's only one team that can win it all. But you certainly want to put yourself in the mix and want to make sure that you take all the excuses away starting, the last few weeks, because that's when you tighten up the screws a little bit. I think you hear a coach talk about it. He talked about it this morning. There's new people in the lineup, new bodies, new players trying to get used to this team and all that kind of stuff. So that's a little different. Right now, there's no more excuses. All you can do is control your details, control how you act as a team, how you react to things. The Avalanche seem to be reacting to things the correct way these past few weeks, hence their record. And I don't see this stopping anyway coming down the stretch here.
Nobody's been better over their last 10 games in the NHL. The second best team is the team you lost to the other night in Montreal, who's 8-2 right now. So maybe a respectable loss, even if that is not a very good team on the whole. They've been good lately.
Yeah, and they played a good game.
Yep.
And their goalie was good. Again, name me a good team, I'll name you a good goalie. But, at the end of the day, Avs are rolling. Avs are being confident. And now they're winning at home and they're winning on the road.
Yep.
And, everything seems to be rolling on all cylinders. You just got to keep it up right now. Knock on wood. Again, talk about injuries. Some guys are starting to come back. If we want to, look at the injury report again from Dr. McDreamy, you sure can.
There's more to come. The Avs are playing well right now.
Yep.
They're surviving without Nichushkin again. They expect him back on this coming road trip, even if it's towards the end of it. They're going to get a couple of pieces back, and then further down the line, guys like Ivan and maybe an Oliver Shillington, and who knows when.
And Ivan is again on a night like tonight. When you look, no disrespect to anybody in the lineup, but Ivan probably has
earns a couple extra minutes. Yeah,
he probably earns more minutes.
Yeah.
We all know he's got the trust of Bednar from now on, and when he's going to be back, that doesn't go away.
Yep.
So it was good to see him skate this morning. Natushkin to skate this morning, and obviously, Gabe, you're going to hear that. You're going to see it that he's starting to skate more often. Whatever it is, again, that one we're not touching. We're leaving that one alone. Wedgwood doesn't seem like it's as bad as
could
what
have been.
Could have been. He did skate a little bit on his own, stuff like that. So it's not like, it's so sensitive that he can't put a skate and, get on the ice. So at the end of the day, let's cross our fingers on that one because he's been a big reason, too, of the Avalanche, last 10, 12 games. There's a big reason why this guy, he's infectious in the room. He's got that personality. And, when you have a goalie that you get along with, and he does get along with Blackwood, and then you have a guy that's on the bench and in the locker room that actually makes sense when he speaks and is actually genuine and infectious, he's not even playing. How huge is that?
Yep.
It's huge. And people think that it doesn't matter. The guy doesn't play. It matters. It matters. It matters what's said between peers. It matters what's said at a TV timeout. It matters what's said on the bench. This guy does all the right things, Wedgwood, when he's not even playing. So, but on top of it, he's played really well when he's been in there. So,
look, you can't win them all, but you can certainly win most of them, and the Avs are doing that right now. So enjoy it while it lasts. They're a good hockey team. They're finally showing it, I think, to the level that people were hoping for. So it's great. We got 2 super chats to get to here, and then we'll wrap things up. $10 from Speed Limit, who says, it's nights like this one Toews had tonight that remind you how lucky we are to be watching these guys play hockey. Yeah, they're a real good team. It's fun. Savor it while you can. Guys don't get 14-game point streaks very often, and Mikko's casually doing that right now.
Quietly.
So, yeah. And then 7 from Drew, who says, steady Yeti for Vezzy. I love it. Take care, guys. See you Wednesday. Appreciate you, Drew. We appreciate the rest of you in chat, too. It's always fun to hang out and talk the game win or lose with y'all in chat, even if we get feisty sometimes. We love y'all. We're out for this one. We're back tomorrow. Again, probably talk some potential trade targets. I don't know. We'll have some fun with it. We'll see you there, and we'll talk to you after this. Of course, this has been the DNVR Avalanche postgame show presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.